Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari resumes work on his return from a 10-day medical leave in the UK. Central Bank of Nigeria launches new forex exchange trading platform. Naira closes at 280 to a dollar on day one. Money laundering trial of oil businessman Jide Omokore and 4 others by the EFCC stalls at the Abuja Federal High Court. And United Nations puts the number of displaced people worldwide at 65.3 million, an increase of 5 million from last year's figures. Well, do remember that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we encourage you to use the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We can share with you now some of the pictures on our Eyewitness portal. And first is this one from Bagada Axis of Lagos State. Our Eyewitness reporter is sad at the fact that though the authorities are aware of the rainy season, the roads have been neglected. In our next photo, and that's from Kwara State, Ahmed Yahaya shows the effects of erosion and how it's turned this road into a danger zone. And from Maitama, the Federal Capital Territory, our Eyewitness reporter is worried about this traffic light, which appears to be confusing people. And this picture was sent in from Lagos State. Our Eyewitness reporter is appalled by the way citizens act. Finally, we have this one where we have Rams and an Exodus taking over that particular road along the Katsina Highway in Katsina State. Our Eyewitness reporter wonders where they're headed.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
That's a lot for sending in all your pictures, and do send us some more. Now, the arraignment of a businessman, Mr. Jide Omokore, former Group Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, and Mr. Andrew Yakubu and 3 others before a federal high court in Abuja on allegations of money laundering has been stalled. The prosecutor, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, informed the court that some of the accused persons were not in the country and he would not want to arraign the accused persons individually. The court has adjourned the case to July the 4th, 2016 for arraignment. Mr. Omokore, who is heavily involved in the oil and gas sector, is to be charged along with Mr. Victor Briggs, Mr. Abie Menere, Mr. David Mbanefo, and Mr. Omokore's companies, Atlantic Energy Brass Development Limited and Atlantic Energy Drilling Concepts Limited. Staying in the court, the self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has asked the judge trying him on a 6-count charge of treason to disqualify himself from the case. Mr. Kanu and his co-defendants, David Nwangwisi and Benjamin Madubugu, are demanding that Justice James Soho of the Federal High Court Abuja disqualify himself on the grounds of bias. In a motion, the defendants allege that the court had, in the course of its ruling on April the 26th, openly expressed serious prejudice against a member of the defense team. But in his response to the motion, the prosecution counsel Shuaibu Labaran accused the defense of frustrating the trial. Following this development, Justice Soho adjourned the case to September the 26th to hear the defendant's motion and for trial. We'll cross over to Abuja now. Here's Yemisi Ikpaye. Yemisi.
Hello, Ejoma. Lovely to see you and welcome to Abuja, the nation's capital. The People's Democratic Party flag bearer in the September governorship election in Edo State has emerged. He is Mr. Osagie Ize-Iyamu. Announcing the results today, the chairman of the election committee and Ebonyi State Governor, Mr. Dave Umahi, said Mr. Ize-Iyamu polled a total of 584 votes to emerge as the winner, beating his closest rival, Matthew Idure-Yekenwe, who scored 91 votes to take second place. Mr. Solomon Edebiri was said to have scored 38 votes to take the third position. According to Governor Umahi, a total of 761 delegates were credited for the primary poll, while 713 votes were valid. The election, which held at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in the Edo State capital, comes a day after the All Progressives Congress concluded its own primary election, which produced Mr. Godwin Obaseki as its governorship candidate. With the emergence of the two candidates of the frontline political parties, the stage is now set for the PDP and the APC to slug it out in the governorship election, which holds on September the 10th, 2016. The dust raised by the alleged forgery of the Senate Standing Rules 2015 appears not to have settled, as the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and his deputy, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, are likely to be arraigned before a high court of the Federal Capital Territory on Tuesday on charges of criminal conspiracy and forgery. Senator Saraki and his deputy are being charged along with two others, former clerk of the National Assembly, Alhaji Salisu Abubakar Maikasuwa, and his deputy, Mr. Benedict Efeturi. In the affidavit filed on June the 10th, 2016, the investigative police officer swore that the investigation into the case had been concluded. Some lawmakers on behalf of the Senate had petitioned the police alleging forgery of the Senate Standing Rules 2015 that produced Senator Saraki and his deputy, Ekweremadu, following the election of principal officers for the Senate. A large chunk of the 120 billion naira bailout funds earmarked for the aviation sector in 2011 is alleged to have been diverted to other uses by some of the airlines who got the loan. And the Joint Senate Committee on Aviation and Anti-Corruption is not taking this lying down, as it's vowed to get to the root of the matter. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Aviation, Senator Hope Uzodinma, says that there will be no sacred cow when the committee completes its investigation on the alleged funds mismanagement.
For you, the fund is doing well.
Members of the Joint Senate Committee on Aviation and Anti-Corruption, government officials and representatives of airlines at a public hearing to probe the bailout for the aviation sector in 2011. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Aviation first gives an insight into the reason for the meeting, and immediately after making his remarks, the Minister of Transport and Aviation, Mr. Rotimi Amechi, takes the shot. He says his ministry and its parastatals have no record of the funds.
The actual thing they would have done is to pass it through the ministry. And we're saying here that the ministry does not know anything about the $40 million, neither do we know anything about the 86.6 billion naira. None of our agencies seem to know anything about it too.
To set the record straight, an official from the central bank gives a breakdown of what the aviation fund is all about. Out of the 10 airlines that received the bailout, 2 of them have become moribund.
Under the Power and Airline Intervention Fund, we've funded 10 airlines to the tune of 120 billion. And the interest on the facility is 7% to the end users, that is the airlines. And the program, the tenure of the loan is for between 10 to 15 years.
Some members of the committee, however, observe that there was a twist in dealings of some of the airlines 2 weeks after they received the funds.
We have taken one airline as an example. The application was made in 2010. Approved, and money, he had access to the money in 2011. As soon as he got access to the money, he transferred huge sums of money to a company in Ghana, apparently to acquire a business in Ghana, with the money that is meant to develop aviation in Nigeria.
More revelations are expected to emerge as presentations are made by key players in the aviation sector, as well as government and private sector that facilitated the disbursement of the aviation bailout funds. It is hoped that findings at this public hearing will resolve the many challenges confronting the aviation sector in the days ahead.
When the News at 10 returns, despite the launch of a liberal foreign exchange policy, the Nigerian stock market closes in the negative. That's on Business News.